Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
And we're going for a drive.
2021 BMW M440i.
xDrive with launch control. Dude, that's really quick.
And we're dropping all these Mitsubishi iMoves out of this airplane, and the only way to say them is to click subscribe to inflate the subscribe airbag.
Are people gonna want to do that though?
Yes, because iMoves are cute. They are cool. You gotta save as many as you can.
Just subscribe.
Horsepower tour.
382 horsepower, 364 pound-feet of torque from a turbo 3-liter inline 6 with a 48-volt mild hybrid system.
That launch was good, but it wasn't violent or anything.
Nah, it's not exciting, but it is genuinely quick. And when you floor it and you're in the right gear, like, this thing picks up pretty damn quick. And it's also got that e-boost, which you see in your TAC, which is pretty cool.
And how about in comfort and automatic?
Definitely a little slower.
It's a lot slower to react, but like once you're in it, it's like full power.
Yeah, but if I leave it in sport, which is probably how I'd realistically drive this car, much quicker.
Okay, so what we've come to a conclusion is it's pretty quick.
Yes. And it is a ZF 8-speed, which we love in every BMW. It is fantastic in here. And I find that it is actually kind of smoother between shifts in here. Like, if I floor it and then that's a really smooth shift. And for some reason, this particular BMW has been very controversial.
Yeah, and I think it's because finally with iPhones, you can have a car key sent to other people.
Yeah, it's actually amazing. So now that I have an iPhone, I've enjoyed Yuri sending me the car key to this and me putting my phone to the door, unlocking it, putting my phone in the wireless charger, which detects that I have the key, and then starting the car.
And to set that up, I needed to connect to the app, and then I also needed to have both keys in the car at the same time to acknowledge I was the owner of the car and I could set up car keys. Like, it worked so well.
It really worked well, and you can also put limits on that. So if you have children, you can send them the key through their iPhones, but if you have children with Android phones, you're gonna have to get them iPhones or get new children.
And you know what else you can unlock with your phone?
That giant case you're holding in front of you?
The new G-Tech ArmorLock encrypted SSD.
That brings us to today's sponsor, which is dvshop and G-Tech.
So dvshop is the camera shop that's been hooking us up with everything since the beginning of time. And G-Tech's been giving us all of our hard drives for all the work we do, because filming car reviews takes up a ton of space.
Everything that we use is stored on G-Tech hard drives.
So now with the new G-Tech ArmorLock encrypted SSD, all your data is secured and can only be accessed by people you authorize. The best part is your phone is the key, no passwords to remember, hardware encryption with data rates of 900 megabytes per second read and write.
On top of that, dvshop and G-Tech have partnered with Nanuk Cases and Foama Canada to create a custom-made secure case for the ArmorLock that they are including for free for a limited time.
This is next level security protection for data designed for film industry and content creators. Technology that all the major studios use and is now available to anyone. So check out dvshop.ca for more info on the ArmorLock and other G-Tech deals and promos.
Hey, remember that time that we ran over another G-Tech drive with a Miata and nothing happened to the data?
Yeah.
So we got a video out of that because all of our data was actually on that drive.
Stay away from my data, guys. I'm gonna lock this stuff.
And I know I ragged on Android phones earlier, but this car also has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay.
Wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but you don't have an Android anymore.
Doesn't matter, so we got wireless CarPlay.
Does it work well?
Yes, it does.
Do you like having the map full widescreen?
I love that.
Okay, and one of the cool things with this one, they updated a little bit of stuff in the infotainment, but it's hard to notice. Now I can finally program my Apple CarPlay or Android Auto projection to one of these buttons here by going to the apps menu, which I don't think I could have done in the old versions. And if I could have done it in the old versions, why did nobody at BMW tell me? I've been complaining about it in so many videos. And then there's one more tech thing I want to mention that goes back to the digital key. With the app, you can actually get a 360 view of your car wherever it is.
That is really cool.
But you can only get like 2 of them or 3 of them every 2 hours, which is like, I'm paying a lot for this. Like, let me do whatever I want.
That is really not cool. But I can see why they did that, because data and then also battery on the car and stuff like that. So I understand.
There's something I'm missing, but if you're an engineer and you want to tell me why, hit me up, Yuri Tershin on LinkedIn. But leave a message in your invitation so I know why.
So that's actually pretty much it for all the new tech in here, which is pretty nice. Like, they did update quite a bit.
Yeah, a couple important things plus one more thing that I'll talk about later.
And so now let's talk about this e-boost system. So you get a torque fill basically before the turbo spools up, and it is noticeable because when you see it come up on your gauge cluster, you actually do notice like a little bit more of a boost. It's cool. So now I'm gonna send it through Cliche Corner in Sport Plus mode, and I mean, this is definitely still fun because we have driven the M440i as well, which is the sedan version of this, but I think, oh man, the traction is fantastic in Sport Plus mode, but I find that they kind of screwed up the steering on this one, and it feels very rubbery. It's like, I don't get the same communication feeling that I got from the M340i. I feel very disconnected driving this car. It's still fun, it can still send very hard, but I feel like the computers are driving the car more than I'm driving the car.
Okay, midway through that corner, I saw the e-boost light up, and I did see the blue show up through the gauge cluster, but to me, it feels pretty much the same. I don't get that whole, oh, it feels different, it feels digital, it feels like you're not connected to the road. Like, I still feel as in control as I ever am with this vehicle.
Yeah, and see, I don't. I feel totally disconnected. Like, this car's taking me for a ride, where I totally did not get that feeling in the M340i, which is almost identical to this car. I don't know what it is. I still feel like they did screw something up with the steering, and I genuinely think that it is different than the M340i.
Yeah, it's just hard to gauge that when you drive the cars like a year and a half apart on different roads and everything's different. Like, if we did a back-to-back test with like an old BMW, maybe I'll say something on that, but like, I'm not gonna get into that.
Exactly, and we also are on winter tires now. However, I did drive this on an autocross course, and I was able to definitely send this pretty hard, but it also just kind of felt disconnected. You can definitely get the back end out, which still makes this a fun car, but it's just not quite an M340i for me for some reason.
And I disagree.
Driving dynamics, this just feels like it's been softened up, which for the coupe, I would expect it to be stiffened up. So it just, yeah.
I think you need to think M is stiffened up. Coupe doesn't mean stiffened up anymore. It just means different style.
But we drove the M340i, and this is the M440i.
Feel the same to me, man.
They definitely don't to me. But this engine is great. It's probably the highlight of this car. It's really quick. No matter when you floor it, like we said earlier, this transmission shifts seamlessly. It's just the steering that's kind of wrong with it. But we're not gonna beat that dead horse anymore.
Dude, we beat the shit out of that dead horse. We've been talking about it for 6 minutes.
Murdered that horse. It's probably glue now.
But shifting here isn't that exciting. Like, you don't get a like we did on that old Alfa Romeo Stelvio. It's just kind of like, eh. But it does sound kind of good from the outside.
Yeah, but not really in here. But let's take a listen to the outside.
Like, when you're on it, like, yeah, it sounds cool, but there's no cool backfires and crackles and pops like that earlier M440i that we drove that we just, like, absolutely love.
Yeah, that stuff's done. Like, European regulations, again, not gonna beat that dead horse. We're never gonna get that again.
That last M4 and 4 Series generation was like the sweet spot.
Yeah, for probably some other controversial topics as well.
It's the grill! It's the grill!
Ah, damn it, he told everyone. So this is all-wheel drive, and just like the M340i, it is heavily rear bias, so you can definitely still get the back end out, and it still makes it fun. It's just that steering, but again,
that horse is dead.
So, other than that, this will do 0 to 100 kilometers in 4 seconds, which is really quick for something like this, and that's almost the same 0 to 100 as the previous gen M3, M4.
Yeah, I mean, it's fast, but it just doesn't feel the same way, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's just not exciting to drive this. It's such a disconnected experience.
But it's a good daily. Like, you get on an on-ramp and you pepper it a bit in comfort, and all of a sudden you're like at 120. You're like, oh.
For sure.
That's right, I did buy a fast car.
Yeah. Like, if you don't care about those kind of things, like the steering feel and this kind of stuff,
Dead horse.
this is still a really good car to actually drive because it is quick. It's really comfortable. We do have the adaptive suspension. We do have the same drive modes that we have in every single BMW.
And it looks amazing from the front end. Let's get into the looks!
With you in the driver's seat. Oh, seatbelt givers. Oh, before we put those on, look at these shirts.
Wow, you can see the full shirt.
What a beautiful shirt. Okay, Yuri. Seatbelt, launch control.
That's like really good normal people fast.
It's so smooth though.
For someone who's not used to driving supercars and stuff, like, this would be amazing.
Yes, it would feel like a supercar.
All right, to the look. Starting with the front end, it's got the new BMW style grille that everybody hates. We talked about it a lot in our M3, M4 live video.
Yeah, so make sure you guys subscribe and hit your notification bell so that you know every time we go live, because we do that off schedule other than Tuesdays and Fridays.
So now, seeing that in person, do you hate it still?
Yes, I actually hate it even more now. I tried so hard to accept it. I genuinely thought, I was like sitting on the toilet thinking about it. I'm like, is it that bad? Yeah, it's that bad.
Okay, we've got a license plate on front, which everyone is saying like, oh, it'll break it up, it'll be better. We took the license plate off. I think it looks better with the license plate off. I think this looks cool. I think everyone's being a baby because this is interesting. It looks cool on that iNext thing or whatever it's called. Like, and there's other cars that don't have it yet. Like, they have a wide range of this grill and not this grill and other grills. All people do is complain about grills.
There is reason to complain about this grill. We did not complain about the X7 grill or even the 7 Series grill. We found this to be totally appropriate. However, I have a theory as to why they did this for this particular car.
Hit me with it.
I think they did this to the coupe and the convertible because they are low volume compared to their sedans. So they took a risk on their coupes and convertibles in order for people to talk about BMW, which everybody is doing, and then they will actually in return sell more sedans, SUVs, and everything because people have BMW on top of mind again.
But yo, they put it on the M3, so what are they gonna do? Make the M3 win a bunch with that grill. So be like, what are you gonna do? Not buy the car that wins with the cool grill? And everyone will be like, all right, fine.
The M3 is, yeah, it kind of nullifies that part of the argument, and the M3 does look better in general because it is wide body, but we won't get into that right now.
But my theory also is that the new electric cars do have the big grills, and electric is the future, and everyone wants to sell more of that. So maybe with the M3 having the big grill, they're gonna ease everyone into it by making the M3 so cool, and then everyone's gonna be all on board with this stuff in a couple years.
That also makes sense. We'll just have to find out if everyone's gonna be all on board.
I bet you they will.
They won't have a choice.
All right, now if we move on to the side view, we lost the old cool BMW style body lines that were like really aggressive, had huge humps and everything. Now it's all kind of mellowed out, which I don't like. I think everything kind of looks like a Mustang now.
Well, yeah, remember when we first reviewed the M850i, I edited the Mustang into it, and you're like, yeah, it looks exactly like that.
Yeah, and that's what it is, and that's okay. You know, they got to change stuff up. You also mentioned that you think that BMW nailed their looks, and it got so good that anything they did after that, like, people would just be mad, like they perfected it.
Yeah, because the previous generation looked so good that everyone just kind of expected the next thing to look so good. So I think they had to go way outside of the box in order to drum up interest, which will in turn drum up sales on their other cars.
And then how
That's
about
a wild theory.
Yeah, and then how about the wheels on this?
Well, these are winters, so I'm not going to criticize them too badly on that. Thank you, BMW, for putting out nice cars in the winter for us to drive.
Then we got some red brake calipers on here, which we always like because we're sucker for colors.
Yes, but they changed them for blue, which I believe these are an option.
And then what would be the Continental recommended tire for the most beautiful BMW ever?
Well, I disagree with that, but the Continental recommended tire would be the Extreme Contact Sport and the Viking Contact 7 for winter.
Guys, have your winter tires on already, please.
Yeah, please. By the time this video is out, your tires should have been on.
And then moving on to the back end. Do you like the taillights?
Taillights are pretty good. They kind of look like the M850i and everything else coupe from BMW.
They're chill. We got a tiny little carbon fiber spoiler there. We've got a reverse camera built into the logo. When we pop the trunk, we got an okay amount of room. We can drop both seats from there. And then what about the exhaust tips?
They are disgusting.
There's too much gap, there's too much see-through. Like, at a certain angle, when I can see the ground, I'm like, ah, man.
I totally saw that, and it's like thin on the bottom. They just look so cheap.
And if you want to know more about what we think about the M3 and M4 looks, check out our live video that we did with the car before we could drive any of them, because we do live videos on all that kind of stuff. We're kind of the live video guys on YouTube.
Yeah, the live walk-around stuff.
So I'm going to put it into sporty engine sound for Cliche Corner.
Okay, let's listen to this. It'll drift, man.
This traction, BMW has the best all-wheel drive traction. I'm convinced.
Yeah, exactly. They really do. Like, other than Porsches and stuff like that, this prioritizes fun and slippiness.
And I didn't feel disconnected. Like, I knew what the car was doing. I felt like I could control it perfectly, put exactly where I wanted to. Like,
the thing is, you are disconnected, but you can still do it.
I feel fine. Like, I don't feel like, oh, I need an old car that's hydraulic steering and fully connected. Like, this felt good. Like, there's no problems on my end.
On your end, yes, it does not feel good to me. I would 100% take the M340i over this.
Wow, still beating that dead horse. Hey, I'm just kidding.
Just murdered.
I baited you into that horse trap.
Plus, we get the nice grill. Ho-ho! Brought it up again.
So I guess overall, looks-wise, this isn't as nice as the last gen M4.
Yes, and it's not as nice as the current gen M340i.
And then I like this more than the 3 Series. But if we're moving inside, there's some more tech I want to talk about. It's got the traffic jam assist. It does work pretty well. It watches your eyes and all that stuff. But I did have an issue where it kind of swayed a lot more than other manufacturers would.
Or even the Alpina, where we drove that recently as well.
Yeah, that one swayed a lot too. And then when the road lines aren't perfect, like if they're putting orange ones or changing things up a little bit, this thing really freaks out there.
And the gauges are exactly the same as every new BMW, except you found a new mode in this new iDrive system.
Yeah, you can change it so that it shows your power and not your tach, which I guess they're just showing how little people care.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're like, you don't even need to know your tach. Shifting isn't important.
We'll see, to your point earlier, the electric car stuff, that's going to be the electric car future where there's going to be like power reserve and percentages because like there are no RPMs.
You know, it's all good. Old cars exist.
It's not all good, but old cars do exist.
And I get rid of that stupid map in the middle of the gauges and I put my driving assist stuff, and it's cool because you can see all the trucks and everything beside. It's really nice. And then in the infotainment, one thing they changed, they got rid of time shift, which was rewinding satellite radio. So now to do that, you go to the right, and then there's a jump back or jump forward option, but you need to set it as a favorite and a preset, and presets you can set up to here on your number 1 button.
And then we also have a really nice 360 camera, which you also showed on your phone.
Yo, you know what I did? I legitimately used parallel parking on Queen Street near Roncesvalles, as like a straight up psychopath with taxi cabs and stuff behind me, and it worked perfect.
That's ballsy.
It was, I'm like to my wife, I'm like, yo, watch this. She's like, what are you doing?
Or lack of caresy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I felt good about it. And then we also get up to radio station 1000, so we do have other radio stations on SiriusXM here.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, there's a couple new ones I like. And this also has gesture control, but I have found that the gestures accidentally change way too often in this particular vehicle.
Yeah, it's really crazy because the amount of times that we've accidentally triggered this compared to other BMWs is off the charts.
Yeah, it's worrisome. And I really like this kind of thing. So.
And then you can do, hey, BMW, but we're all over that by this point.
Well, it actually works a lot because I know I wanted to change the engine sound, so I said, hey, BMW, engine sound, and it found it right away.
That is true. It's better than digging through these confusing menus sometimes.
Maybe we're getting better at it.
Probably.
Okay, and then other stuff in here, we've got cup holders. They are perfectly fine for small cups. We got visors.
Ooh, let's find out.
3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Pass. And then what about back seat room? It's just enough for me at 5'8.5" ish.
And it's not enough for me at 6'1.5".
And we also have ambient lighting, just like other BMWs. They're nice, but not over the top.
And we got this cool pattern on here, which is not carbon fiber. It's just a little bit different. I like it. It's not gloss black.
And then all the other materials in here are great. We got some like subtle red. This is like as subtle as you want to be for an exciting car if you're like not an exciting kind of person.
Yeah, this would be like red wine kind of color-ish. It wouldn't be like super bright red, which is awesome. And then we also have our matte surround around the shifter and command center. Kind of looks cheap because it's matte, but I'm glad it's not gloss black.
Okay, and then the last bit of tech, this does have the built-in dash cam recorder, which is like the best feature ever. And I think with all that, we should probably get to the price.
It's actually quite a bit of money. Starts at $64,450.
Canadian.
But this one is optioned out to $78,495.
All right, this is really fast, almost as fast as the last gen M4, but it's like a weird look, which I like, but a lot of people don't. And it's just kind of like too subtle for that price, I think.
Other than the front end. But man, if you want to be really disconnected from your vehicle for a lot of money, this is top of the list.
Like this competes with a C43, right?
Yeah, a coupe, and then like an Audi S5 as well.
Yeah, I think like this might be faster than them, but I don't know if I would prefer this. Like this is probably better than a C43 driving wise.
See, sedan wise, I always recommend the M340i because I really like how that drives and looks. Coupe wise, I think I'd actually go C43 or Audi S5.
I would go 4 Series hardtop, but I would go C43 if it was a convertible.
So let us know what you guys think of the new big grille M440i.
And check out dvshop.ca. Follow them on Instagram to see more deals on G-Tech and to learn more about the ArmorLock encrypted SSD.